What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the boundlessly boisterous Dr. Disaster, and there are a variety of good reasons why nobody with half a brain in their head should want to visit the Game Developers Conference, not the least of which being, this was what happened last year. They took a minute to scream impotently about how the gaming industry is falling apart. Seriously, the vibes given off by this moment of mass psychosis are pretty bad. On the one hand, it gives me some real Buffalo Bill, put the lotion in the basket kind of vibes, but on the other hand, it kind of reminds me of a little kid throwing a tantrum.
Oh, but baby.
In any case, wanting to avoid the weird-ass people at the Game Developers Conference makes total sense to me. I don't want to play the video games that these chuckleheads put together, much less want to be anywhere near them. But one developer has made a post which is making the rounds on social media telling people not to attend the GDC for reasons that are about as asinine as you can possibly imagine. This Canadian thinks that developers shouldn't go to the San Francisco conference because Americans are basically evil.
You're a moron!
Yes, this guy is an absolute moron, a hyperbolic, attention-seeking, wannabe victim. What kind of a jackass do you have to be to posture about being persecuted for being progressive while visiting a leftist city in a leftist state to attend a conference run by flaming progressive shitlibs who encouraged people to scream for a full minute like a bunch of children because their industry is falling apart? The victimhood narratives that these people build into their heads is absolutely hilarious to behold.
It's a fake.
It's real!
It's a fake.
Don't you understand? It is real!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, we are going to look at the viral post that has been going around on social media. Just as a heads up, in the background here I'm running some Stellar Blade video just because I have to have something running, but I don't want to give the impression that the guy we're going to be talking about here was in any way affiliated with that game. I only chose Stellar Blade because I know that it bothers many of the people who are against us. Anyways, this is the guy who wrote the post. As you can see, he's no longer posting on X because he's one of those little pansies who got his fees hurt by Elon Musk. Instead, he took to Blue Sky to talk about how actually it isn't safe for developers from Canada to go to the GDC because the US is a bad place. This is the sort of hyperbolic crybaby pity farming that has taken place for a long time now in our culture, but let this just be another reminder that the game industry is still not fixed. The war to boot these people to the margins of the industry so that they aren't running things any longer, that war is still being waged. We haven't won it yet, so don't act like things are over. But anyhow, this is the post that the guy wrote. He said, "Important message for all my Canadian game developer friends and colleagues. If you are attending GDC in San Fran next week, I beseech you to reconsider. you can no longer expect to travel to the US and return safely. Now, I will say this, going to San Francisco and expecting not to get mugged or hurt is probably something that isn't exactly very realistic given the crime rates there. But of course, that isn't what he's talking about. His problem is that he and his shit-lib buddies didn't get their way during the US elections, and they're throwing a conniption fit because Donald Trump and Elon Musk are attempting to cut out the bloat in government. I'm unsure how these people equate authoritarianism with shrinking the government, but I don't think logical consistency is what these people are going for. Anyhow, reading on, the guy wrote, "Things are getting intense, and they are going to get worse before they get better. Do not put yourself in a position where you are unable to get back into Canada, or where your Canadian citizenship is used against you. This is especially true if you have been supportive of any causes or expressed any values that run contrary to the tastes of the current administration in the U.S. If you have, wipe your phones and know your rights before you enter the U.S. Stay in touch with family and friends in Canada so they know where you are at all times." Now, I want this guy, or anybody who agrees with him, to name a single incident, just one incident, where somebody was imprisoned or not allowed to leave the country simply because of their views in the United States. If anything, Americans will tell jackasses like this to get the hell out of the country because we don't want you infecting our country with your venom. But of course, this guy is all butthurt about the reciprocal tariffs that are now being put on Canadian goods. He's acting like suddenly we're at war. And for any of you space pirates out there who happen to be Canadian, please don't take offense at what I'm about to say, but it's like, my dude, if things were as bad as you seem to think they are, if we were truly at war, the US could have their way with Canada any way they wanted, and there isn't much that anyone could do about it. But the guy continued, saying, or even better, just stay home, all GDC talks will be available in the vault, and most business transactions can be done over video calls, or better yet, you can invite folks to visit you in Canada. We are generally nice and friendly, as long as you don't threaten to annex our country. And once again, I will reiterate, if that wasn't a joke, if that wasn't Donald Trump taking the piss out of you, if that was something that was seriously intended, then it would be done already. But how he ends his post is particularly funny to me. He says, "I'm sorry if this seems alarmist to you, but if it does, I would suggest you haven't been paying sufficient attention to the news of what is unfolding before our very eyes." Man, this guy put alarmism in his rearview mirror a long time ago. He's now in full-on insane paranoia land. Allow me to translate what he actually meant with that final line. If you aren't as scared shitless as him, then you must not be trapped in the same echo chamber. And I gotta say, if I were uninitiated in the culture wars, and if I saw this post in a vacuum, this is precisely the sort of thing that would drive me away from people like this. The scaremongering only works with people who are already in the same bubble. It is astonishing, though, how people like this will act as though the US is this terrible place with terrible people, and yet the incident at last year's GDC with the insane harpy screaming, that doesn't factor into his views at all. Clearly, he thinks that is perfectly normal and okay behavior, which tells you everything you need to know about the rest of his views. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of this moron into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.